Good afternoon, thank you very much, or if you say it in mining terms, Glück auf. Today I want to talk a little bit about, on the one hand, my entrepreneurial journey within the heavy industry, and how I explored how data can revolutionize the mining or, in general, the heavy industry. So my journey started a little bit on my previous work as a project engineer, and my work was, I worked for a German company which is called the TÜV. Everyone, I think, knows from Germany. And my job was traveling around the world and visiting different mining operations, and my most promising tool was the stopwatch. So I had to look in different situations where big mining equipment is working, and I had to check how to optimize the fleet or their operations, as well as also to create an understanding if there is a guarantee issue, technical fault, what is the reasoning behind it. And the funny thing is, when I was in India and doing my job, in the evening I was looking into the new release of the Apple Watch, and it was shown that the Apple Watch can show you, okay, when you're sleeping, what is happening, how many steps you're doing. And I was like, okay, this is the same what I'm doing with big equipment, which costs you millions. And I was like, okay, isn't there something which we can build to do the same for this big equipment? And this was the moment where I realized, okay, there is a lot of potential within data and how you can use data. Long story short, I quit my job a few weeks later, and then I decided to build up a company, which was not quite easy. And my father said, okay, why you're quitting your very nice job at TÜV? Why do you do so much risk? And I was like, there's unlimited potential about data in the industry. I have to explore this. I'm a mining engineer and I have to find a way. And let me please be honest, at the end, I have never ever written any code. I have no experience in software development, so I have only mining experience, and I'm looking as an engineer in this industry. And now I have built up, based on my entrepreneur journey, a company, and I'm employing a lot of software engineers, data scientists, and it's quite interesting and amazing what kind of jobs they can do. But this is not what I'm talking about. I want to talk about what does it mean to use data within the industry and how data can shift the industry. Let's start with this on the first slide. This is a quote from Marc Andreessen in 2011, and he says, in short, software is eating the world. He put this quote within his in this article in New York Times, and there was the dot-com bubble bursting. A lot of startups overhyped, were bankruptcy, but he wanted to state that although there is now a little bit of a shift or a change within the startups, the promise of the future is in software for industries. And I would say more than 10 years later, we're in a stage where we recognize, yes, this is true. So all of you are using different software solutions like Uber, Airbnb, and the funny thing about these companies is they do not hold any assets. Airbnb is not a hotel company, they're a software company. Uber does not have any cars, they're a taxi company. So the importance is there is a fundamental shift, and this is going on and on and on. And why is it not within the heavy industry with big mining equipment and so on and so forth? I think this is now happening. So now we're in another stage, and I would promise in the next decade, data eats software. All of you have kind of experienced this a little bit in the past. ChatGPT is out, Bing is using ChatGPT. I'm not sure how many people in this room have already used ChatGPT or the new Bing. Please raise your hands. It's a lot of quiet people. Small side story, I was on a conference, a mining conference, and I asked the same question. There was only one person raising their hand. So I was, oh yes. And this is also part of the nutshell of my story. So you see, this is a changing thing. And the question is how this, what we experience with ChatGPT, how this can influence in the small scale our operations, our workflows, and how this is changing our daily life. We have experienced a little bit, but I want to bring you on the journey. What does it mean for the mining industry? So in mining, this is reality. So honestly, I also promise you this is not an AI-made picture. This is a real picture. This is the truth. So the question is, how can data support you in solving the hardest industrial challenges. Challenges like this, or a challenge like this. And this is real life. This is due to the fact of bad maintenance, bad service, or even utilizing your machine in a bad way. And this is the daily work, what is happening all over the world. This is not only in mining, this is also the same in agriculture, logistics, and construction. So the key question is, how can data support and change these industries fundamentally by solving these problems? Because there are people which are operating these machines, managing these fleets, and they are not so tech savvy like we expect they should be. And the question is how we can bring data to their lives, to their workflows. So first of all, the important thing is there is a lot of data and the unlimited treasure of data of the machines. So just take one truck. This truck has more than 4,000 sensors built in already, and it's getting more and more the new generations of trucks are coming out. And they're producing an average 3 gigabytes of data all the day. And it's like a Twitter account, which is all posting all the time in milliseconds updates about the machine. But the funny thing is, no one is listening to this. So it's very sad because the people, they use only these sensors to operate these very complex machines. So complex machines, why? Because there is a lot of different components built in, and these machines are more complex than your personal car. In your personal car, you're driving from A to B to Z. And the point is, these machines have to drive, lift, change positions, and they are sometimes bigger than your house. And the funny part is, these machines need to run all 24/7. And they're spending a lot of money, an average 35% on the purchase price of these machines. So this truck costs you more than 10 million in purchasing and 35% each year to keep this machine running. And I saw here a big potential, and I was asking, okay, why don't the people see this, and why can't we use data? Because Amazon is telling me, okay, I can buy my coffee or other stuff, and why can't I order in an automized way also spare parts? A new tire, let's take the tire example. So the question is, this tire costs you 120K for purchasing and has to be changed every 3 to 6 months. So why can't I predict to use when the tire needs to be changed and influence the workflows for the different stakeholders? And this was kind of the experience or the underlying question of my business journey. So I was asking, if there is so much potential, why don't the people are recognizing this potential and these opportunities? What is holding the industry back? And there is an easy example, because I'm a bad engineer at the end, because I'm not following the rules of engineering. And I recognized by following the rules of engineering, you have these two pyramids. On the left side, you see the pyramid upside down because it shows you the opportunities which lie in industrial intelligence. Industrial intelligence is the combination of IoT solutions and data analytics. And as you can see on the other pyramid, capturing data, getting signals out of the machines, getting and transmitting data, creating information and knowledge costs you a lot of money. This is very, very expensive, also today. And there is less opportunity. It rises more and more, but there's not so much opportunities in there. And I was asking myself, okay, what is the problem here? Because everyone is asking for wisdom. Everyone is looking for wisdom. Everyone wants actionable insights and a great understanding about how to use the machine, which costs you a lot of money, by the way, and use it much more and better. The funny part is, in a normal engineering way, you go the pyramid from the bottom up to the top, or try to get to the top. So what does it mean? You install sensors, you install devices to get the data out, so you have an IoT situation. You try to build information, build dashboards. There's so-called jobs like BI, intelligence, and so on and so forth. But this means you need a lot of people. A lot of people who are trying to structure the data, a lot of people who are doing a lot of manual work, building up dashboards to try to fit in or finding the needle in the haystack? And this is the big question. The funny part is, it is going on and on. And so we're adding more and more and more and more people to this situation. So in these big companies, there's a lot of people working, reducing the noise in the data and providing more insights, more information to the people. But what is now the problem? It sounds great, but it's very costly. On the other side, to reach really wisdom, you need an understanding of the workflows of the people. So in my company, we have employed engineers as well as also data scientists and software developers. They are working very well together because the engineers try to understand what are the workflows of our users, what they do all the day with their machinery, what kind of information do they need when. And so we are going the pyramid from the top to the down. So we ask ourselves, what is the opportunity? Where you can monitorize on the data, and then ask ourselves, what is the technology, or how we can use the technology to achieve our goals. And this is a different thinking, because as an engineer, you start from the scratch and try to solve the problem by technology. So we are going there and say, okay, what is the opportunity in the market and how we can help these industries. So to make it very clear, this is an example of how to change the air filter. This is the same coming back to the tire. We can present this raw data, these data models, but no one is really interested in. People are interested in clear solutions which tell you when to do something, what to do, what kind of spare parts, and how fast I can get this. So you have to kind of growth hack the understanding of the people and include the informations and insights into the workflows of the people. I want to kind of come to an end of my small keynote with this picture, because on the one hand, I showed you the unlimited potential of data, and I showed you also the potential based on this idea how you can build up an unlimited possible company. Let's see what the future is bringing. But the point is, you have to start small, because you have to accept the limits of the market, you have to accept the limits of the industry. And this picture is showing my co-founders on a fair in Germany, showing to veterans of mining how our idea is working based on a Lego excavator. And we were thinking a long time if this is too childish or not, because we were just 4 founders and presenting to big companies like we are doing this stuff and we're 4 people, but we have a nice idea, and which is kind of mind-blowing for your whole operation and business. And we showed this on this Lego excavator. It was fun, but it also created a clear understanding. So my key message to all of you is, on the one hand, try to understand what is limiting the industry, try to understand what is the unlimited potential within the industry, and also find a way to explain your unlimited potential in an easy way to the industry. Today, I'm employing more than 50 people in the company, and we're growing and growing, and we're working with the biggest companies for tires, for machines, very well-known iconic brands, and I'm quite happy that we achieved this. But I never, ever thought that this would be possible based on a Lego excavator. So keep to your dreams, start to dream, but also accept the limits of the market and find a way to growth hack to come to your goal. Thank you very much.